All right. Wait. Ah, are we live? Hold on, folks. I'm here. Just checking everything is okay. Yeah, everything is okay, I suppose. I should be live soon. Should be live soon. As a matter of fact, I am live. I am live. All right. Oh, no. All right, so how do I do this? Maybe around here, I guess. That's how I do it. All right. Wait. Wait. Here I. Here I am. All right. We should be live. We have been live anyway for a while. But anyways, here. Everything is good, I guess. Everything is good. Hey, Henry, how's it going? Is it loud? Because maybe it's loud. Maybe it's loud. There's a good chance. Let's see. Oh, wow. Yeah, it is loud. All right, how about now? It should be better. All right, we're gonna play 10-0. Hopefully it's better. Need to remember this setting, though. Need to remember this setting. All right, we could play Gambits, I suppose. Gambits. B4. How's it going, though? How's it going? Hopefully doing well. So this is actually the Wing Gambit that I've been playing. When did I start playing this Gambit? Maybe like last month? Maybe a month or and a half, maybe even? Like been in 2 months, close to 2 months. So this Gambit is fun to play, but, you know, you need to know it. You need to know it in order to play it very well, you know, otherwise. And d5 is actually the best move. Supposedly here, you play it here. There's knight f6. Yeah, queen takes. At any time you play in the sides, you know, like you play some kind of a... On the wing side, you always need to play centralized. So I played on the wing side, right? d4. So you could take one time and then you could take, you know, you play towards the center, which my opponent able to understand. So you don't want to do this as queen e5. Yeah, that wins a rook, and that's the reason why you need to know it, but this is obvious tactic. He's just playing knight f3. You don't really care about this one because actually that's the point of the gambit. He's actually sacking the pawn on e3. As a matter of fact, you could take it twice. Like, you know, take on e3 without even... I mean, I've seen people do, like, the take here. Taking the second pawn is maybe a little bit of risks involved into this kind of stuff, because typically white could get quicker developing the pieces much faster than, you know, that you think. So possibly take once and then you take on here. If you play toward the center, you take on d5. This setup for black should be good. So bishop g4 is interesting. I'm actually trying to remember the line because I know bishop e2 is actually takes, and we are back to e5. Queen e5. This is maybe still being attacked, so maybe it's okay. So you take queen e5, this queen e2, he takes here. There must be some queen b5 ideas. Probably do this. I mean, he might take. You're not necessarily winning this one. There's some tricks. I'm trying to remember the line, though. He may just not take at all. He may just play like e5. Oh, hey, bro. Great chess. Oh, scripted? Yeah, an AI, yeah. Like, I have my twin doing that. No. Nothing scripted here. But tell him to come aboard. Come and enjoy, right? All right, queen e5. You know, as I mentioned that he could take the rook. I suppose this queen e2 takes this queen b5. This pawn is under measure. I'm trying to remember if the line is king f1 even, or you just play queen e2. It's probably queen e2 you take, queen b5 check. Yeah, I agree. Takes time. Takes time, that's for sure. Everybody's just like the rating, right? You start playing chess in the, I remember, I remember the first time I played chess. Like first tournament. Like my rating was bad. I was like, how? And then the rating goes up. Like once you play more tournaments. So it's the same thing with viewers. I'm not expecting to be like you get a lot of viewers in like in 1 year even. It may take some time to build. It's equivalent to chess. Playing tournaments. I mean, chess tournament. I mean, equivalent to playing chess tournaments, and you just improve, and and obviously, you improve over time. I mean, I think I became a master 2015, and I started playing in 1998. So it took like a lot of years to become a master. So that's not just like a couple of years. Nowadays, if you're young, you could actually become a master faster if you're young, right? Because you have no work. And kids knows they are easy to learn. Kids are very easy to learn their information fast enough, and obviously they improve fast. So that's the reason why we say kids are able to improve fast. If you could, maybe a couple of months, you could see like somebody who could become a 2000. I've seen some really smart kids where they could improve, really huge amount of, I remember some kid that I played before. He was just 1800, and he started playing the game like maybe 1 year ago, and then he became like almost like a master. So in 1 year, almost 2 years gap, he was already a master. I give you yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Been watching you for over a year. Yeah, I know. It takes time. It takes time. So I think you can still do this. Look here. I wonder if I screwed up the line though. He took the rook and I rook b8. Yeah, I suppose I could still play bishop takes, rook b8. That's gonna be rough. There's a couple kids who go to my meeting on. Yeah, I know, right? Kids nowadays are pretty strong. Nothing like in the past. Like in the past, maybe like the past 20 years. When you play a kid, they are a kid. They are not into the game, right? And then nowadays is you could play like a grandmaster without knowing future grandmaster. I just noticed that I'm gonna be down a rook here. That's actually kind of funny. The line maybe is king f1. Something crazy. So you could play bishop here. So we need take, but b1 is hanging. There must be some trick in this line. Wow, I mean, I'm shocked by this. b1 is hanging, and all right, we're done a rook. I'm gonna review this line again because I know bishop takes f3 is not winning. There's a way out. That what happens if you forget the line, right? You need to know the line, even myself. So I mean, he's up a rook here. We'll try to find a way, but even rook b8. Now he's attacking the queen. That's great. Now he's attacking the queen. Queen here, rook b8. We won. He wins. He just wins the rook. I mean, he wins the knight. I mean, he won the rook already, right? I mean, that's kind of sad. If you play here, it's knight c5, queen b5. We'll play here. This game is lost a long time ago, but this is maybe here, bishop b2, but rook is a rook here. It's trying to review the line. So the real question is queen e5, queen e2 here. Is it this bishop b7? But this is hanging. Maybe castle, and then queen b5, king d8, queen d5 check. 12 points. I lose 12 points if I lose this game, which I should. Should lose this game. Any move works here, even queen c7. I'll be shocked if I'm able to hold this one, but I've seen some miracles before. f2, I mean, that's... I can't even take here. I mean, I'm not even takeable. It's always rook b8. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna resign soon, but we'll see. I mean, he's playing a little bit too slow. Maybe bishop b7. Just any move works. You know, knight b6 even. You could allow this. I can't even castle this. All right, we're just gonna resign it. Just want to take a look at the line. Oh, you just take here? Oh, wow. Oh, I screwed up the line because it's the same concept. So let's say it's queen e5 anyway, right? There's a big difference. Queen e5 is okay. And then you play king d1. I mean, I remember king d1, but you know, it's here, not in the previous line. So if you take here, this is actually terrible because of bishop b5. And then some kind of queen b7. So now this is actually lost. Winning for white. Now you're attacking here. There's always some issues. You cannot take here, by the way. This queen takes. I just didn't remember. So I remember king d1, but I did not remember it where exactly. So you just have to take on b4. The way I did it is actually terrible. This actually still not lost. I could still take with a pawn though. But I was kind of assuming it's queen e2, queen b5. And some kind of king d1. I mean, king d1 does not really save the day here. I mean... It tells me that there's a way you could play this. I mean, this still feels like it's lost to me. Here, there's a big issue still. Queen c4. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna give a rematch. This is actually what happens if you forget a line. I try not to play complicated lines. This guy is new, though, and I'm suspicious. I mean, maybe we play somebody else. Might be new. Hey, how's it going? How's it going? Good game. I screwed up the line. I had bishop f. I mean, I couldn't figure out like when exactly when queen e5 is a mistake. I mean, it's not a mistake, but king d1. So you have to take on b4 first, and then you could allow queen e5 because I have queen b5. I just forgot the line. I played the wrong move order that lead to like lose of a rook without any kind of resistance. So this is actually the, I mean, this is a very, this is actually the modern defense. It took me a while to remember that. Modern defense. I actually play the Owen defense sometimes. Owen defense is b6. I was about to say the Owen defense, but this is not the Owen defense. This is actually the modern defense, much stronger than the Owen defense. So I do play c6. I don't go for d6, but I think d6 is typically what you could play like this. c6 is a sideline, which is actually pretty solid sideline. Never played this guy before. So c4 is interesting. I mean, I could still take queen takes d5, knight c3, queen d8, and typically d4 might still be a concern that could be attackable. You don't want to go for knight f6, you're getting hit by e5. We'll try this. At least the line I remember. I mean, this is not so tactical. It's kind of like, and instead of here is knight f6. The modern defense is not like really tactical opening. It's more like positional. Entirely different from what I played the previous game. So knight f6 is also playable because you could take the pawn. Instead of queen takes, you want to take it with the knight. Like you want to go knight f6, knight takes d5. I suppose knight f6, maybe he could play here. You could always round the pieces to play knight b6, and you might still take the pawn back. It's actually double pawn, so that's not too much of a concern here. It's funny that this transposed to a Caro. Like, it's Caro. It tells me it's a Sicilian. I mean, how is this Sicilian? From here? And then it went from Sicilian, like a Caro. So yes, it could be a Caro here. The Panov line. Bishop g7. Okay, so he bishop c4, then he play knight b6. Now it tells me it's a Sicilian. That's actually messed up, though. Sicilian here? Like, how is it Sicilian? Tells me it's Sicilian. Like, it went from Sicilian here. It just did like in one move. I'm not sure about this naming. I don't know. This move order is really interesting. So knight d7, we are in Sicilian. Or actually bishop c4. Or castling. Actually, castling for black. Sicilian? So sometimes move order really does matter. Sometimes they don't matter. Here, bishop b3. I think we're still in the modern defense. I'm not sure how is this Sicilian. You don't play like... I mean, you could in some Sicilian where you play bishop g7 and... So maybe getting the bishop out. If bishop g4 is h3, I take, queen takes, and he's still up a pawn, and I give up the bishop pair. So maybe here, knight e4. I'm assuming here is knight h4, though. We may have to go back to d7. We'll give it a try, though. I think maybe this is the right move to play, knight h4. I mean, double pawns are really, in a situation like this, they are not that great. You probably, you know, they are attackable pawns. I mean, d5 is really attackable in some lines. Like later, you could still win it. You played bishop f4. I felt like knight h4 was probably best. And now I could do knight e4 to try to weaken up this d5 pawn, maybe trading on e4. So maybe if he ignores it, let's say rook c1, he could just takes, knight takes d5. Still a fan of knight h4, though. I don't think he's going to take, but we're just pre-moving it. Sometimes people would do something very unusual here. They just take, and then they could play d6. Like, they give you back the pawn, right? It's interesting that they play d6 in this line, because d6, the point is, maybe d4 is weak later on, and then when they play d6... Yeah, look at this. He played d6. I mean, hopefully he's not tuning into my stream, though, but he probably knows that d6 is possibly... You know, so the idea is you take with the pawn, and you don't really attack d4 the same way as opposed to, like, the previous... if I were to take on d5, let's say it's black to move and knight takes d5, right? And then you could see that d4 could be a target throughout, you know, the game. But he played d6. So here's saying, well... He's just gonna take with the pawn, right? There's also funky ways that sometimes you could allow your opponent to take even, and then you know take back, but that's you'd be down a pawn at this point, right? So d6 is actually a smart move because now I may have to take, and d4 is not as weak as once before. So that's a smart move. Maybe I could try this, but. The idea this is maybe bishop takes d4 is not happening. There's always pawn takes at e7. May have to take. I mean, this is now a move. because if queen takes, bishop takes, so he may have to take with a pawn, which you probably have the nicest pawn structure you're looking for. So knight here. If he takes, we take, we gain a tempo. We gain a tempo in a certain way that we attack the bishop. I don't know. I don't think he's gonna take. But I also may consider like h6. We might be back to the same structure where if he goes back to knight f3, then I could still take, right? I'm keeping my eye on d4, potential attack. It's funny that d4 is still attackable, but it's still like a pawn that he could still defend. It's not like I could win it. He could still defend this. But in some lines, it could be attackable. But not winnable. I think that's the difference. Oh, wow. He disconnected. That's not good. That's not good. So the first game I would lose in like a couple of moves, and now I might just win like... No, come back, come back. Come back. 16 seconds. And they don't give you an option to like draw. Like, I mean, I'll probably give him a draw here if I'm given a chance. But it's going to be automatic loss. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, look at this. They don't give you an option to draw, which... So if you give this to the computer, I mean, the computer likes this for black. I mean, I don't know, it feels like a little bit equal. I guess maybe it's still equal. I wonder if the computer is in favor for d6. It should. Yeah, it likes d6. And the idea of d6 is pretty simple, though. It's just, as I explained, if you engage in a position like, let's say, h3, I'm just giving a random move here, and then he takes, just like I mentioned, let's say, another random move, then you could see that rook c8, but the problem, though, is d4 is really a target. And let's say he takes on d5 here, it's queen takes even. Now, the computer feels like it's giving me that black is good. Yes, black is actually really good here because d4 is actually a biggest issue. It just feels like it's equal, but it just comes down to small details where d4 is actually a problem. I'm new to chess and learning chess. King's Gambit for white and Caro. Yeah, so honestly, I tell people that they are new to the game, or even if they are beginners. I mean, even if you played the game for a long time and you're not high enough, you don't want to engage to play like any kind of gambits, because gambits are like, you need to know the lines, and you may not necessarily... It's fun to play though, but you're not necessarily going to learn much. I always tell people that openings is not relevant for people that are beginners or starting out the game. In your level, everything is going to be based on tactics. I might try b4 again, because if my opponent plays the same plans, I'm going to figure out that he's not going to do it, but we'll see. My opponent did this last time. Took. And he did some bishop g4. So if bishop g4 now, I know what to do, right? He's supposed to take on b4 after that. So yeah, beginners shouldn't be really playing openings, studying openings. You want to play like a system opening, meaning that you play an opening that you could always play all the time, like a London comes to mind, Nims or Larson even. The English is good choice as well, but English is 1c4, right? But the English is actually still a lot of theory that you have to study, and beginners does not gonna be like, even beginners and people who are not strong enough. e5 is actually a good move. I suppose I could take on c3. And that's actually how you play this gambit. You just play towards the center. And you just ignore what white is trying to do on you. So beginners and people who are trying to get to, let's say, 2000 USCF or fader rating, everything is all about tactics in this level. So you're going to benefit more if you do a lot of tactics as opposed to like studying openings. Studying openings is going to be a waste of time. You're not going to improve based on, you play King's Gambit, you play the best opening, the Catalan even, which I think the Catalan is the best opening. Depends on your style, but it's a top tier opening. It doesn't matter if you play the top tier opening, because all your games are going to be based on tactics, like tactics mistakes, tactics you don't see against your opponent. Let's say you have a checkmate in 10, you don't see it. It's not going to be, based on openings at all. It's going to be based on what's your tactics, how good is your tactics, defense for defending, and also And when I say defending, because some people will say defending, meaning what exactly when it comes to tactics? Defending means, that the opponent is putting up a combination on you and you're able to see it. Like, you know what exactly is happening and you could get out of it, right? I heard as long as my move choices as it will work. Yeah, like yes, it's so I would say like it's not necessarily like this, but it's so for example, why I love the London for beginners. I could play the London next game if I'm given white. I could explain why, but in more as soon as I make the moves. But this move is happening though. Maybe knight d4. There's also bishop e3, and if here knight d4. There's also knight e3, which could be annoying. Because maybe I have knight b5. The reason I suggest the London is because you could always play it. You could play the same structure over and over again. Now, there's a big argument. It's actually the more you play the same opening over and over again, the more you could actually have more experience not making mistakes during the opening. Meaning, if you play the London over and over again for like, let's say, 100 games, your mistakes is not going to be based on openings per se. You are familiar with the structure. You're familiar with the moves. You're not going to make a lot of mistakes, assuming you're playing it correctly, right? So the London is like more like a pyramid kind of thing. You play the same structure over and over again, which actually saves you time, and you're not gonna get there's not enough mistakes there, assuming that you know what to do. I guess this is what you mean by like a principal move, right? Yes, maybe. So if you know that this is good move, you play the same move. Like so, you play d4, bishop f4, e3, c3, bishop d3, castles, knight d2. This specific move that I mentioned are typically what you're supposed to be doing in the London over and over again, right? For black, it's a different conversation, right? But for white, you probably do the same thing over and over again. So now your opponent could trick you. What happens if I play d4 and he plays c5? Could I get the London there? Yes, you can. Or you could try to play, let's say, d4, c5, c3, and you're trying to get bishop f4. You could still play the same structure. Now, the more you play this opening, the more it does, you don't have to worry about like making mistakes. You're not really studying openings. So 100% of the time you have to study tactics. So in order to improve tactics, you have to do a lot of puzzles. It doesn't matter which site, whether it's like chess.com, lead chess, you could even do puzzles with the books. It doesn't matter. Back in my day, I was depending on books. There was, chess.com wasn't even there at the time when I started playing. So any kind of puzzles, and you have to do them like almost like a daily routine kind of thing. You just don't like skip a day even. You try to do them like as if you're working every day. And that's how you improve. Once your tactics is very strong, you're able to pick up tactics in your game without anybody tells you anything. Then you could consider studying openings. Then you want to pick an opening that meets your goals, and then chances are the opening that you pick now, you could always change down the road, right? It's not going to be the same opening that you play the next 30 years, right? Openings does change. Like you play a specific opening, you're always going to change this opening. Sometimes people love to do like they are not really an e4 player. They could be like a d4 player, e4 player, c4 player. So they don't want to limit themselves to just playing like one opening. You're not into stage, like beginners are not into stage to learn openings, and they lose because of like a tactic. Like it doesn't matter. So obviously the only thing that makes you improve, it's just simply doing a lot of tactics every day. So he played bishop b8 though, and I don't know if this move is really good though. I guess maybe. I think maybe he was concerned about knight c5. Yeah, maybe it's good. The reason I say maybe not good because I was looking at bishop e3. Thinking this diagonal seems to be key, but he makes us play knight e7, maybe some a6. Maybe just e6, yeah. I mean, he might be threatening the knight. Any kind of push we could play here. Do I just play here, maybe? I mean, e6 here is not necessarily a problem because the rook will be hanging, right? If he ever takes. We'll give this a try. If he push, because he may, and then we play knight here. It's probably safer just to play here, knight here, and then castle. But doesn't rule out that I could still play here. Maybe knight f6 is a maybe allowing bishop e3 because you know you may not castle easily, but he always has e6, so maybe he could still get away with this. The bishop also covering c7. So yeah, so he played here, which yeah, that makes a lot of sense. He doesn't want to see this happening because bishop e3 is he could still castle if he ever take, knight takes, he's fine. He's fine. Suppose he's gonna castle run. He's gonna run, right? He's interested to run. So now what to do? I mean, rook e4 is really a fancy move. Fancy move because I want to play here or even put the rook on h4, which is really like I mean, it's not the way to play the game, but I've seen in the old days where Tal used to play this kind of stuff like rook e4 and like a rook lift like that and then he win the game like in the next 20 moves. It turns out to be that this rook move was actually best. But obviously rook e4 here just feels like it's not working for me. Maybe some rook e1. He could still play e5, knight d4, maybe even here. My concern is queen e5, h2 is under attack. With checkmate. If I play here, it's here, knight d2. Let's give it a try, though. So I'm actually telling him push. Maybe that's... And then we play here. Maybe we should possibly consider bishop c4. Now, in this opening, and that's the reason why I tell people not to play gambits. That's one good example. If you're not good enough, and you're already down a pawn. I mean, white is actually down a pawn now. And I give this pawn out, like, before. Like in move 2, I guess. So I actually give him pawn here. It's a free pawn that I give him. It's actually b4. And he took, and then he's up a pawn. So if you're not strong enough, like you may never recover that pawn, and then your tactics are not that great, so it's not going to help. So even with King's Gambit, what happens if you play e4, e5, and f4, and I take the pawn? And you know I could play g5 next. You know, there are some better alternative like d5, but you may not know what to do, right? I mean, I played a lot of King's Gambit in the past, 20 years even. And sometimes people, when they play it, even for some strong players, they may not know the lines. I mean, I used to do like e4, e5 when I'm black. f4 I take, and then a quick g5. And then, you know, it becomes like, you know, some kind of suspense kind of game. But obviously, you know, I usually win this kind of stuff because obviously my opponent sometimes wouldn't know the line. Now, if I'm playing a strong player, then chances are we may have a game, right? So that's the reason why I would tell people just not to play kind of gambits if you're not really strong enough. You know, just delay it for some time. It doesn't mean you would never play, but it's just delay it for once you become better. So a6 is not really attacking the knight. I mean, I just noticed that I only have 1 minute left, so I have to start moving. He's not attacking it, but because the rook is actually under attack, so this may allow me. Oh, I can still take down. It feels interesting that he's doing this way. He took the knight. He was confident. I mean, the bishop is not, if the bishop is somewhere here, then he has bishop maybe here. Suppose he could take here, but this feels like it's too much. He's looking at the clock. Maybe here. Yeah, maybe he's considering this. Here, 93. You might try queen d6, mating idea. So queen d6 is threatening mate, which is fun. Here, 93, queen d6. Not take is queen d6. Queen d6, so he could, threatening mate, yeah. And maybe knight takes d4. That's actually interesting stuff here. I missed it, but I'm down on the clock. So, I mean, maybe bishop e3 after knight takes d4. All right, so bishop here. He cannot take, though. Takes, bishop takes. So I found a way, but the problem is going to be the clock. The clock. .95. And he wants to play here and checkmate. That's nice. Maybe distract him. Take here first. He could do knight f3, I guess. Maybe I'm okay. I could still defend. As long as I don't give him a checkmate, like a quick checkmate. If we trade pieces, then, white is, could claim that he's better. Four minutes versus 1 minute. Let's see, though. I'm going to play d6. d6. This move is weird, though. h5. I mean, I guess maybe he's concerned about back rank issue, but this move is weird. That allows a quick d6 and 95. This is actually the move. I don't believe this. 97 is actually a big issue. Could he take this? Oh, yeah, he can. You could take this. I could take here, takes here, rook d8. I'm on time to win this one. Knight c6, rook d7, 95, rook takes b7. Oh, actually my... Okay, here. Bishops are annoying, though. Is it knight d4? Maybe he wants to do this, or a rook takes, a knight takes. Maybe here. If he takes now, I defend. He doesn't have knight here. I take back. Knight e7. Yeah, that's going to be an issue. This is hanging. This is truly hanging. This actually might be lost. Fighting the clock, though. I mean, what to do? Fighting the clock. Yeah, that's lost because the two, bishop knight is pretty strong here, and he also have like pawns, and he's trying to play knight f3 though. Some kind of a mate structure. Yeah, he's trying to do this. I'm actually looking for stalemate. I don't think it's gonna work. That's the reason why I play g4. It's gonna be made though. 17 seconds. Yeah. Hold on a second. Do we have anything here? Checkmate. Checkmate. Good stuff, though. Opponent played well. G6. I may have to speed up though. Speed up, Stellar. So C6, you know, as I talked about, this is modern defense, a sideline. F6. Takes. I'm looking over here. I'm looking at knight g4. Still 24 though. Still 2400. Even though I lost like some weird games. So this move is interesting. I was looking at queen b6. He cannot really castle though. I mean, that's actually a big issue. Maybe he's looking at some g4 though. That's maybe in. Wow, maybe it's g4 here and g5. It's actually impressive. Queen b6, g4 anyway. Takes rook b1. And then he gets to have his fun with g4. Fun moves. Fun moves. Unless I play like here and bishop e6. Like maybe here it's tricky because bishop e6 and he has to move somewhere down, and then once he plays g4 I could play knight e3. So and then it could be okay. But that blocks access to queen b6. We'll give it a try though. So the idea is you come here. He still wants to play g4. Hey, he doesn't have g5 though, I don't think. Because now I'm attacking the queen. The queen has to go back, right? Like here and then knight e3, gaining enough tempo. So it's here, possible take, takes. g5 is no longer a problem, right? It shouldn't be. Oh, unless my bishop is trapped. Unless my bishop is trapped, which I don't think it is right now. It might be trapped after bishop takes. Yeah, maybe some queen e2. So what happens if I take? Rook takes knight e3. This forcing a trade queen d3. And then maybe I could go back to h6. So when he plays g5, I go back. So maybe this move order really matters. I mean, that's what I mean. Like when you work out a tactic, defending, this is actually how I'm defending tactically. Like I see that maybe he has like a way to win. And that's actually when he plays rook takes, knight e3, he has to take because otherwise I win an exchange, right? So here, forcing take, takes. Now, that doesn't win a piece per se now because I could go back g5. And that's actually what I mean by g5. You just go back to g7. But here's the issue. Where I'm going to castle here. But he also, the issue for him, he's not castling as well. The bishop's still covering this square for now. I mean, maybe we both gonna castle along. Oh, I did? Wow. I did. Maybe it was a long time ago. I mean, I play f3 sometimes. Sometimes I do. So queen d3. So he played g5, but it's not the end of the road here. Bishop g7. I guess what I mean by losing a piece, for people not following me here, if I were to play... So the piece here, if you play knight e3, this move order really matters. He could take, let's say, takes. He takes here, you take back, queen e2, or queen d3, he attacking both pieces. The knight will be hanging, the knight with the bishop will be hanging on e3. And then you lose the piece by force. This way, I'm able to save, to basically save the piece. But maybe he could castle long. I mean, he's playing g5, so he could castle long, which is fine. He's probably have to do it. Maybe he's considering e6. E6 is one of those moves. It does make sense, or Or it may be weakening. Weakening that the pawn could be takeable. I mean, e6, queen d6, queen e3, knight a6, knight c7. It's an attackable pawn. Alright, so this makes a lot of sense though. Knight takes here, check, you win the bishop. That's a good move. And I cannot castle, right? The rook is attacking. I mean, I don't understand. Do I have to play rook f8 myself? Do I have to play this kind of stuff? And that's how I castle? Like, maybe even take and king takes, castle, and I play king g8? And then you officially castle, right? It took like 50 moves to get, to castle like that way. It appears to be that way, but maybe rook f8 though. It's just funny. I mean, I don't think I should allow this. Because now you could take, and I could take back, right? And then king f8 defending g7. Because if you play any other move, let's say you play queen d7, it's just you getting hit by this insane move. Then that's gonna be rough. Rook f8 is funny move though. He may just castle though. He may castle and then e6. Maybe I have queen g5, check. May have to do this. It's funny that how I have to play rook f8. This kind of explain how insane this position is. He castled. Alright, so e6. e6, so we actually blocking him playing e6 himself, but e6 is actually it's about taking on g5. I actually feel like e6 and rook f6 is actually a good move. Maybe he could play like this. And then I'm not sure how I handle this. So he could give you the exchange because these pawns are really strong. That's a drawback from playing e6, right? Because he cannot play this right now. The pawn could take. But how could I defend this one? Maybe he may have to run, but obviously he may still take. Rook f6. So the problem here was knight takes. I could just simply take here first. I mean, not first, after. Mango, welcome aboard. Welcome in. Probably need some mango by now. Queen takes g5. Oh, wow, he's taking here. It's... Oh. Yeah, but why? Yeah, especially nowadays, the weather's... Takes... We are back to castling, I guess. Could he just take here, though? Takes... Go back to g8. Okay, what is queen g3, though? Oh, he's defending the pawn. He could do it queen e3, though, and still... This probably doesn't matter much. No, I get moved the knight. I feel like here in rook f6 could be a problem for me. e6 is also weak in some lines. There's also some weird breaks on c5. Like you want to weakening up the center. Now he knows what he's doing because c5, c3, and he's also looking at knight f4. That's what I need to see this knight f4. Knight f4 here, and then queen g4, rook e8. Now I'm defending. I'm not liking the position though. Hopefully knight takes g6 is not a move. I do both. Oh, kick? Oh, I was about to say YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. Kick, I'm still considering it. It's too much of a platforms, you know? Why should I do a lot of platforms? A lot of the streamers do like multi-stream. So yes, you could say, well, you could do kick and, like YouTube. But I don't know, that takes a lot of resources, and he's just doing a duplicate, I'm from Hawaii. Oh wow, that's the weather there should be interesting. Yeah, it's actually very hot here actually as well. So it's hot everywhere now. But yes, so Kick is equivalent to to pretty much like like Twitch, but Twitch is probably better audience, more audience, not better audience. I guess the right word is actually more audience. Um, and I'm still considering it. It's not like it's off the table, but YouTube is a huge base of people watching. There's a lot of people that love YouTube, including myself, because you could always watch a stream. You could watch my other videos while you're on it. Like the video on demand is different from Twitch, of course. Knight here, I could play c5, c3. We could take, and we may have some fun though. He's looking for h4, h5 though. That's the fun he's looking for. Yeah, longer content in YouTube, right? It doesn't make sense to watch Twitch for that, right? It takes. What do I have here? Checkmate. We have some, that's checkmate plan here, here, and here. So yeah, kick and twitch is, but 93 is actually okay. Now he's looking at knight takes. Knight takes. So defending on e6. h4 actually is coming in. Do I just play here? We both are attacking. h6 is maybe okay. I mean, my bishop is almost like off the table at this point, but we're still gonna attack though. This maybe here takes an e3. It could be tricky. Did he have to do a3 himself? That's actually the question to ask. He lost like a turn. Maybe he could have played like pawn takes. Actually, d4 could be a problem in some lines, but the position is intense. I actually like white because my bishop on g7 not doing anything. Unless I win d4, right? Yeah, that's... I mean, my knight is also sitting duck here, knight f8. What I mean, like, d4, if you go for it here, let's say here, and you win somehow, like, your opponent is blind enough, not seeing that you could take on d4, and then you're weakening up e5. It's not gonna happen like that. Alright, we could try for an attack. Let's see what happens. I don't know if it works, but I suppose if he goes for this, I could play queen c3. The knight is under attack. The pawn is under attack, but I'm trying to open up some lines. It's funny that queen c2 is a move. Maybe a2, king c1. Oh, you cannot play king c1, so maybe queen c2 is met by a2. It's just funny though. If you go here, you lose a piece. So this a pawn is really a problem. You cannot just let it, move like that and without dealing with the move. Possibly takes, queen c3. Queen b3 is just a good move here. 8 pawns. Like here. Oh, king takes. Oh, that's... Now d4 is a target, believe it or not. Now they're attacking it. It's funny that he has to be really careful here. It's not that easy anymore, unless I'm missing some obvious stuff here. I don't think knight takes d5 works. I could take here first. Yes, so this move is interesting. The real issue here is maybe I could sack. Like, maybe something like here and knight takes. That's actually what I mean by he has to be careful. If this sack could work, with potential attack. But I think rook e1 is interesting. I may still sack the rook takes. Yeah, he played knight d3 though. That he's playing actually nicely. So maybe here, still looking at this. Knight c5. Who's attacking? Who's attacking here? Rook e8. It's actually here. Very tough to make this move. I mean, I wanted to keep my eye on d4. Maybe I'm heading here. Knight c5. Stopping this. Yeah, queen e6. e6 is hanging. Yeah, might be lost. e6. Yeah, that's lost to me though. I mean, bishop is like... The bishop is done here. Almost feels like I'm down like 2 pieces, not just one. I mean, this feels like it's... Bishop h8 is like I'm down a piece. Like this actually feels like bishop is terrible here. He takes here. That's complete and complete. I mean, I don't even have anything. That's like a bluff to me, nothing else. Takes on h7, I'm down a rook. I get my bishop activated after like backing my rook for it. But he played well, he played well. Check, and that's just his lost. It's lost everywhere, I think. Alright, give him a rematch. I have to beat this guy before I get going. He's not gonna allow it. Yeah. Alright, d4. Yeah, this game was it's actually tough. Yeah, he played well. Playing Gambits. This is actually another Gambit that I play sometimes, and the opponent is taking fast enough. So I could play some... so you get some activity with the pawn. It's not the best opening. It's probably good for blitz games. Usually I could play 95 and castle long, preparing some attack. g4. Oh, I dropped from 24. I dropped from 24. This probably takes. He could take. Doesn't matter which way, I think. It does matter, but it's okay to take with that pawn. Maybe e5 is weak at some points. I mean, remember he's up a pawn. You could take. Yeah, you could take. And even bishop g5. That's fine, though. Let him do it. We're still going to attack. Still going to attack here. Yeah, he wants to castle long, and it's pretty obvious. But castling long is leading to this, so he may have to make a pawn move first. He's also keeping the options open for this one. Castle long. G6 is coming. So if he plays here, I could go back. He's not gonna win on e5. f7 is still a target. But I'm just trying to get all my rooks involved in some kind of an attack. So I have the two rooks attacking somehow. I mean, rook d3 could also be a potential attack against his king. I mean, I'm down a pawn. I sacked the pawn, not necessarily lost the pawn. It's like I sacked it in the opening. Play g6. I could also consider this one. But he may castle long. And f7 is still protected. The queen is sitting on e6. So maybe it's here. So he may say, well, can I just castle and then get away with this? No, he's still losing f7. So he has to defend somewhere. I mean, if he castles here, then we may be looking at some kind of an attack still happening. Castling, f7 is still an issue, so he has to maybe it's not as easy at the defended h5. We just play a waiting move. It's your move, though. It's your move, b6. He wants to castle somehow long. If he's playing b6. Still hanging this one, though, so maybe... Maybe here in h4. Oh, now he's defending it. Right. He wants to castle long. You want to castle long, you castle long. I mean, how could I stop you? If I give this one bishop f4, I wonder if I still have an attack. I'm sacking another pawn. If he goes here, bishop f4. I'm looking at some... He didn't take it, though. He didn't take it. The man knows there's some attack happening. It's funny he didn't take it, though. So now I could... Oh, here is bishop takes. Oh, that's close, but... Close to miss. So if I play here, could I just play rook e3 in some line? I don't know if it's enough anyway. Again, I give him like 2 pawns and double pawns here. Maybe it's just bishop f4, c5. All right, let's try this. So maybe I could shift ideas like rook d1. I mean, I'm still down a pawn, but it's still, still manageable here. It's not like I'm lost yet. It's not lost. F5. That's actually a big commitment of a move here. F5. Big commitment of a move. I'm not sure if F5 is the best move. I mean, this actually feels like, he wasn't necessarily have to play like this. He still have the rook defending F7. So F5 is not like necessary right now. It could be like the next couple moves, but I suppose here is what to do for me. Still play rook d1. So the reason f5, maybe it's a big issue because this is already a pass pawn. Yeah, you're kind of saying, well, we are allowing you to have a pass pawn. And who knows, g6 could become a target later. Maybe it's takeable at some point later. and there's no need to allow e5 to be a pass pawn. Like when you look at it, this pawn, the pawn was actually takeable at some point, right? On e5, like the pawn e5 was takeable. So now it feels like the pawn is strong on e5, like between just like in one move like that. So there's also take. I'm just looking over if I should consider taking because this opens up a diagonal here. I mean, he could also claim that he has a diagonal on some kind of queen e4 and. I mean, the idea is here, maybe here, rook e3. Maybe he's counting on queen e4. All right, we're gonna play here. We just gotta play it slow, like slow and it's not easy. I don't know. Maybe f5 the position has changed, maybe towards white even. I mean, I don't know. He's just playing a little bit defense here. He's in the defense side for a while, but you know he's just making an. It feels like like it's passive, not so much like defending properly, more like passive to me. He had better moves, but he played. He decided to play f5. So he won here. I mean, maybe this is the reason why he wanted to play f5, so he could start moving with his rook. He doesn't want to be tied down. This is, the reason he did it, perhaps. All right, let's try this. I mean, do I have c4 in some line? I'm trying to keep this diagonal open for me if I'm able to. Okay, he wants to do this. Yeah, that's. Hmm. All right, let's go for this. I wonder if queen d3 is actually a big move. c5 here. And then follow the rook. Mazes play here, actually. Rook e4 is b5. Maybe it's rook e5 even. Like, maybe it could get really scary, though. I mean, my piece is gonna be heading towards his king. I actually played this guy before. It rings a bell to me. Yeah, he did. He does. Wait, hold on. Yeah. Maybe king b7, yeah. I mean, I actually feel like king b7. But there's still c4, though. It's not the end of the road, but maybe c4. But he may allow c4. I was saying c4 is... The issue with c4, he cannot take because this is actually rook takes. I would win, but he cannot even do c5 because I can take on d5. But I'm not sure if I could play c4 and take on d5. That's actually the real suspense here. We're gonna give it a try, though. I mean, I'm pushing. That's the reason why I can't play this move. Bishop g5, he takes, 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 takes. I can still take here, though. Rook takes? Yeah, he's gonna trade down. I mean, even queen takes is suspense. I think queen takes is interesting though. He may have missed it because now you could queen takes is forcing a trade by force. I mean, you could maybe like you could still force a trade here, but it's not the same sequence. Like around here, you do have to force queen trade, and I feel like this queen trade is actually really good for black, as opposed to here. He could trade one of the rooks, but it doesn't mean that he's winning. So he played here. I suppose I could take, and if queen takes c6, I don't see any kind of mate here. I could still take pawn takes. Is actually interesting. Game is on. Choice is yours. Which way to take? It's probably queen takes. I actually saw that this queen h1. And that's interesting. Yeah, this queen h1. It's queen h1, and that's gonna be fun. e6, queen check here. Actually, let's see, e6, check here, queen e1. I only have 1 minute left. He has to check, I guess. Sink. Could I hold? Oh wow, you want to trade? He doesn't have c5. I have e. That's actually the issue. c5 is e7 promoting. If I were to win this pawn, yeah, maybe that's something. So king d2, but he's have to be careful though. He's trying to play here. Because if he play king d8, king e3, he's just simply it's probably a draw, but yeah, I meant to say if I play king e3, he may win this pawn. I have to be careful not letting him win this pawn. So if I play here, let's see which way to play. e4. c6. Oh. Trying to get to king d4, and I'm not getting it. I am not getting it. Bishop c7, though. Why he allowed me to play here? The pawn is protected, though. Probably a draw, which is funny, though. It might be a draw. Alright, he doesn't want to take my draws. That's fine. We'll play on. Speed. Well, he found a way, I think. Oh, wow. This move is so annoying. He didn't see it. So he's probably winning anyway, I guess. Is he still winning after this move? The heck? The pawn moves. The pawn moves. Living on a pre-move. It's actually draw somehow, to be honest. Let me see. Let me see if I'm right. This is winning, of course, but the draw is around before. It was around not even here. This is lost. Oh, so this is winning. Okay. Yeah, so this is winning. Oh, that's fun. So the reason it's winning, I felt like around here. So here, I felt like there was no improvements here. So I played here. We played here. Oh, I see. So the winning idea is bishop e7, yeah. This is actually how he wins. This is how he wins. Otherwise, if bishop e7 is not there, it's actually a draw. So this is how he wins bishop e7. So as soon as I stepped in, it doesn't matter because obviously, the reason it's winning is because, you know, this b4 is takeable. So once you cannot trade here, you're down already like a pawn, and he's gonna take on. So once you move your bishop, which I did, he takes here. Even if he's giving e4, this is still winning him. Yeah, so this feels like it's all lost here. I tried, but obviously it's not good enough. Yeah, there's no way to hold this. I was actually pre-moving pretty much, and yeah, this is. You don't even have e7. He's just. It's funny that e7 is not doesn't hold. Even the bishop could stop the pawns. He does simply, you know, he come across promoting one. I mean, he hits. You know, you have to sack your bishop for one pawn, and then he wins with a c pawn. It could get tricky if the king is able to take the pawns and go back or promote the other pawns, but my king is way too far, and it's not gonna work. I actually want to look before because there was interesting concept before. I want to see if I'm able to, like, yeah, this is still winning. Yeah, this is actually good for him. Yeah, all across. He played the best moves. Yeah, he played the best moves. Yeah, you shouldn't be trading queens. So obviously here I had to play like king c2. Which makes sense because if you were to take, you don't, you know, this possibly queen takes. This may be slightly different, but it's still, you know, black is still fine, strong. Yeah, here I'm just throwing away the game because I'm actually queen h1 is like a threat in some line. I was looking at even here queen e1, and he may have had this move. Like if I play, let's say, a different move, let's say I play like computer's giving that king c2, for example, like king c2. He may have some you know, this kind of ideas, and obviously I cannot go back here. This maybe queen c3. The problem here with queen c3 is maybe like he's looking at some check and take with the pawn. The bishop's still covering e7, so the pawn is never gonna promote. If he play queen d2, he may just take. And that's actually the biggest issue for me. Here, it's easy for black to claim that he's much better. King c8, the king goes to e6. You have a pawn at e7. I mean e5. It's takeable. This 3 versus 2. You know, it's just lost here. This guy played really well, though. I mean, it's funny that I was toasted before. Like I was worse throughout the game, which is funny though. I just want to see if f5, because I feel like f5 is not really. Yeah, so f5 is terrible move. I was talking during the game where f5 is really like it's absolutely not necessary. Yeah, you could. The computer suggesting rook d7. You know, you just play like solid for some time. It's not like white has any kind of an attack here. I feel like f5 kind of draws. I mean, it give me some drawing chances, and actually, I may have missed like pawn takes. There's a weird line here by the computer where I could just play here and rook e3. And white is actually maybe getting some activity for no reason, actually. So if you play queen d7, you're just getting your rooks activated, like something like this in the barra square. There's also queen e2. So you're getting your rook on e1, you know, maybe even some ideas with check, rook e6 even. And maybe just some concern about g6. Just like I mentioned, g6 could become a weakness. The bishop on f6 is kind of a loose piece. It's not easy to, you know, to claim that this is actually better for him anymore. So f5 is just one of those weird moves, and I was considering taking, to be honest. I think my move is not the best. The reason this move is not the best, any rook move or any other move except taking here, the reason is not because the reason I feel like you have to take is because this bishop gets really activated fast enough. And, you know, you're getting all your rooks on the e file. So you always, when you look over like a trade, you always have to look for like more reasons to justifying a trade. Or, you know, like the reason this trade is good is because for white, because obviously he has to take back, right? And you could tell yourself like this bishop is strong, but it kind of a loose in some kind of situation, meaning that rook e1, if he's not really careful, let's say he plays like queen g8 or something, then white is actually better at this point. Because now there's rook e6, you know, everything is being attacked in a certain way. I think the computer is giving some weird line like here. Rook e6 and white is actually near winning. So white pieces are really activated really fast. And the computer is giving like some weird queen g7 and bishop h6. Look at this, the weird stuff here by the computer. And the idea here is you just take on f6. Let's say here, and let's say rook takes f6. Look at this. g6 is under, you know, c6 is under major attack on g6. And white is just controlling the game. You know, the rook in h7 is not really active now. So that's one line that kind of proved the point that, you know, you had to take and just simply getting your rooks in a better square on the e file. When you look over my moves, the rooks are not really they're not really opening up for like, I'm not gonna play c4, and in fact when I did, it's not achieving anything. As you can see that if we give it a couple of moves here, b3 does not achieve the goal here. Rook d7 best move. Here, and if I ever get to play c4, it's just gonna favoring black. And I guess here and bishop c5, yeah. Bishop c5 is actually forcing a trade on d5, which is actually what he wants to see. Maybe here there was better moves. I mean, I feel like black was better, much better, even during the game, and I feel like maybe even queen e2, but this is pretty lame here. Pretty lame by white, because white doesn't have anything going. You do have a pass pawn now, but it's actually being blocked in a certain way that is not ever going to like promote with this situation like this. If we trade, maybe more pieces, but it's not going to happen. So good games for today. We're going to stop here though. I mean, I'm slightly below 2400, but it just goes up and down all the time. We're going to be back to 2400 in no time. So I stream at chess.com and Lead Chess. I do rapid games, especially on YouTube. Somebody asked me about the kick. I'm not sure if you're still here. Yeah, so kick is still like, I'm considering it. It's not enough audience in kick, meaning that there's not enough people anyway. So I don't have enough viewers anyway. So if you do kick, it may not matter much. There's not like specific viewers there that that diehard viewers that kick. Most of the time that people are on Twitch, and the audience are on Twitch. It's actually more on YouTube. So I just picked the two platform that makes a lot of sense. Kick, it's still very good for people, but I think the better idea is to maybe multi-stream between Kick and and maybe Twitch. the idea of multi-stream is something that I'm considering, but it just takes away from, he's just doing a duplicate pretty much. Like whatever you have on YouTube, it might be on Kick, might be on Twitch. You're not dividing the content, here. And so when I do my stream, as of late, I am doing like blitz games, bullet games in Twitch, which is something different than, than what I'm doing on YouTube. YouTube is more like educational, rapid. And I divided that way. I divided it this way, so it's like a different content, So people that tune into YouTube, do you know what to look for? And people that do you want to tune into like Twitch, do you know what to look for? They both are educational, entertaining, but YouTube is more for educational stuff that it's a slower 10 minutes kind of stuff, explaining the moves as they go along. So that's how I do it for now. I mean, it could change, but obviously it's more for educational purposes and also entertaining. I mean, you have to admit this is also entertaining for me, right? It's not like I'm doing it and I'm not like liking it. I mean, I enjoy doing it. So maybe streaming later today is possible. Like, since I did YouTube, then I usually go to Twitch now. I mean, I go back and forth. And also I'm streaming in different sites, chess.com and Lead Chess, because our audience, this is actually now, it's a good argument, right? You could argue and say, well, there are some people that watch, that play only on Lead Chess, right? So I try to do both, both audience, and I play in both sides, so I have no issue. Whether you're a Lead Chess fan or, chess.com fan, I still stream both sides. And mostly when I do also like, I do rapid on Lead Chess as well, and I could stream it on YouTube. It may actually bring more audience because, because obviously people would see me in the front page, and it brings more audience because people would know that I'm, they wouldn't be knowing if I'm on YouTube, streaming it. But, I'm building as I go along. So obviously, things may take more time, but I'm still here in the long run. I mean, long run. So maybe later today, I might be streaming. If not, it could be like a video on YouTube, not streaming per se, or I could be back tomorrow. So I try to stream every single day. There are times I can't. Even if it's maybe 1 hour, I try to do it for 1 hour. Like I could do streaming for 1 hour. Sometimes I can't. Things happen. You get busy and you couldn't do it. So for now, the plan is to do maybe later tonight. Maybe in the next couple of hours to do not a YouTube, but Twitch. If not, tomorrow, right? So that's always the deal. Somebody asked me the other day, when are you gonna do Crazy House? So yes, in Twitch, I maybe even doing Bug House, right, on chess.com. So that's something that I consider doing as well. So it doesn't have to be chess all the time. It could be bingo. It doesn't have to be chess, right? It could be like Bug House, Crazy House, which is still like chess in a certain way, but it's a variant of chess. But yes, so the plan is maybe later today, if not tomorrow, folks, and we'll leave it at that, and I will see you guys later, whether it's later tonight or tomorrow. Hey, how's it going? I was about to get going, but yeah, I was saying that I should be on later today or tomorrow. If you don't catch me now, you could catch me later, and I do stream every single day though, so it's always an opportunity. You could also follow me on Twitch. You follow me on YouTube or Twitch. All right, folks, I need to get going. We'll be back tomorrow or likely later today. Welcome in. It's good to see. Catch me later today on Twitch or maybe YouTube tomorrow. You could have me on mind. You could subscribe as well, so that should be good enough as well. So, all right, welcome aboard. Thank you everybody for watching. I'll be back. Take care, everybody. Where's my window? All right, take care, folks. Take care. I'll see you guys later.